It is Tuesday, September 14th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. And now, a guy whose only true path to finding inner peace, harmony, and tranquility is at a bar on Dollar Long Neck Night, J.P. Shadrick.
Guilty as charged. Welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. And yes, it is Tuesday. My name's J.P. Shadrick. We've got plenty of show ahead today and a lot of good stuff coming up on this new day for Jaguars Happy Hour. Yes, indeed. Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman right around the corner. A final look at the Week 1 loss for the Jaguars to the Houston Texans. We'll get an early look at the Denver Broncos in Week 2 very early. An AFC South review of all the other teams in the division and an unexpected first-place team in the AFC South after 1 week. And then Jaguars Radio Network coverage begins at 5 o'clock with the Urban Meyer Show. We will hear from the Jaguars head coach each and every Tuesday afternoon now. Jeff Lageman alongside now, and here we are. Yeah, welcome to Tuesday Logs. Here we are.
Well, from what I was told, that Urban Meyer enjoyed doing Thursday so much with it, he said, you know what, I want to do Tuesday with you too.
Well, it's going to be one now.
Oh, it's only Tuesday.
It's only Tuesday now.
Oh.
That's right. So Thursday becomes Tuesday.
All
so
right.
here we are on Tuesday, and then
Well, we get to look back a little bit more then, and then
rewind.
We'll look a little bit ahead.
It's kind of a mixture of both, I think. You know,
Yeah.
because we've touched on it on other shows and other broadcasts and things after the game. But
So let me ask you a
one
question.
final look at it before you bury the tape and move on.
Honest question.
Yeah,
I mean, this is now a Tuesday show.
it is.
Okay, so does that
It is Tuesday. Yes.
does that mean that I need to watch the Monday Night Football game in its entirety?
Oh, it was a long one last
That's a
night.
tough ask.
That was a long one last night.
I mean, my
actually stayed up.
bedtime's at 10, JP.
I might have had a couple of long necks. Speaking of Joe, there, but yes, it was quite a game.
But I mean, is that a requirement?
Well, I mean, it is a Jaguars show. I mean, at some point, I'm sure we can discuss it. We've got an
Okay.
hour.
All right.
We've got a whole hour,
Well, I'm gonna have to
and then we've got
watch-
the Urban Meyer show.
I'll have to watch the film.
Oh, you can now.
I can't. I have a hard time staying up. I mean, I stayed up Thursday night for the NFL kickoff game with Tom Brady and the Dallas Cowboys. and
Great
it was
game. Another great game.
amazing.
Another great game.
I mean, amazing game.
They were both great games.
And then I heard. I mean, last night I was watching until halftime and. Rooting for Gus Bradley and wanted him to do well and the Raiders to do well, and it just hit me. I mean, halftime was like,
Good night.
man, I can't do it.
Getting old. Huh?
Well, I mean, we travel to Houston, and you're working late on Sunday night. You're working all day Sunday, and you're traveling, and you get back, and then you got to unwind a little bit. Yeah, it's hard for me to stay up on Monday nights.
Well, you missed an incredible second half. We'll touch on that a little bit later. The Mannings debuted on Monday Night Football.
I
on
got a
ESPN
comment on that.
And
okay?
we will.
I got a comment on that. I got a thought on that.
I've got a competing comment.
I was told, don't give up. Don't give up yet. 'Cause I turned it on and I didn't like it.
Well, okay. Don't spill the beans yet.
All right.
We got plenty of show to get to that. Let's get back to the Jaguars' Week 1 loss to the Houston Texans because we must. It's 37-21, the final score. Monday after the game, head coach Urban Meyer talked through some of the major issues for the Jaguars.
Not really. Obviously, I always like to tell the team we played. They played well, and they did. But self-inflicted errors on offense were crucial. The 9 penalties on offense, which is unheard of and absolutely unacceptable. We forced a couple throws that we just got to make the right reads. But about what I thought.
Yeah, well, what they thought was a loss, and it just didn't look sharp at times, certainly early in the game. He mentioned the 9 offensive penalties. There were 6 offensive penalties in the first half of the game. 4 of those were holding. 2 other ones were illegal formation. Another one was too many men on the field. Just a lot of stops and starts and starting behind the chains and trying to play catch-up offensively on drives.
Oh, sloppy game. I mean, it was literally, you can't sugarcoat that it was a sloppy game. And you got out-coached, you got outplayed, and you had and look, if you think anything else, then you're blind. And I think that they've accepted that and that they know that there's things to fix. And it's the first time out of the gate for, new staff, an organization that had a lot of turnover. But at the same token, I mean, the Texans were in the same category, new staff, a lot of turnover. So there's going to be some work to do. Make no mistake about it. This football team has a lot of work to do. You had timeouts that were used in the first half on offense,
right,
which you don't want to burn them at that point. I mean, you want to use them and have them in the pocket, so to speak, for a 2-minute drill maybe at the end of the half. You had formational penalties, illegal formations, that's football 101. You got to get lined up, okay? You were late kind of getting out of the huddle on occasion.
Yep.
And I don't know if that was a signal issue, getting the plays on the field. I did see Trevor Lawrence a couple times kind of rolling his fingers, giving the motion like, hey, give it to me faster. Mm-hmm. And then special teams early on a punt return, you had 10 men on the field.
Yep.
You had defensive substitutions that were trying to happen. And here's the thing. They were caught off guard a couple times as a defense because they're trying to do these substitutions. If you had a quarterback that was what's the right term? That a little bit better at running the offense from the line of scrimmage, mm-hmm. like you've seen with Peyton Manning. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Tom Brady, hurry, 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 trying to catch people off guard.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers does that all the time. If Aaron Rodgers sees your defense trying to do a substitution,
rush to the line.
They run to the line and get lined up and snap the ball, and then you got a free play because it's a penalty on the defense, or they catch them off guard or something, because they might have too many people on the field while they're trying to do all the subbing. So you got to get that fixed.
How do you fix that?
I mean, and Urban used the term self-inflicted wounds. I mean,
yes.
that all of those things are in the category of self-inflicted. And I know he's focused in on the penalties a little bit, and the penalties are a big part of that too. But all of that kind of goes into the category of self-inflicted.
How do you fix that? The communication sideline to quarterback to, substitutions on and off. I mean, I feel like you just have to go through that.
Well, the communication's got to be better. I mean, that's first and foremost. You got to communicate so that everybody's got a clear understanding of what their responsibilities are.
You have to go through it, right? At some
I mean,
point.
that's what you had.
Yeah.
You had 3 preseason games.
That's right.
So did everybody else. I mean, so that's kind of why you have the preseason, to try to work through some of those things and the mechanics and the organization, and that's why you have the practices, and for whatever reason they did not seem to be ready to rock and roll, so but the beautiful part about the National Football League is that the memory can be very short, because you got a game in 7 days, and sometimes it's even less than that, so you can put your nose back to work. I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to put your nose back to work as a football team and as a player. And everybody has to be accountable. And then Urban Meyer used that term when he took the job. He's got to have accountability. His coordinator's got to have accountability. The positional coaches have to have accountability. The players have to have accountability. Everybody has to say, hey, look, what did I not do that I need to do? What is my job? Because the old saying is, do your job. And that's a pretty simple answer there. If you can.
Yes, it is.
Sometimes it's hard for people to recognize what they did not do, which is part of their job, whatever part of their job is, or whatever their job description is. But yeah, it's they got some work to do, and you go back to work tomorrow and start getting it done.
Let's hear from the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. He made his NFL regular season debut, went over 300 yards, had 3 touchdown passes. A couple of those were late in the game, but he also threw 3 interceptions. Some learning moments for Trevor Lawrence. Disappointed, though, in the opening result.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously sucks. Like, losing's always hard, especially when, you feel like you're prepared and had a great week and really think we were ready, and just obviously didn't play well. It starts with me. I played really bad tonight, so disappointing for sure. I still believe in this team. I still know what we're capable of, and we did some good things. I mean, you see, we started off with some penalties, 3 and out, but then after that we had a couple good drives. We're hitting some big plays, and there's a lot of good things there, and we got to keep doing those and learn from the bad, and we got to watch it and learn from it for sure, but then flip the page. It's a long season. We can't let this snowball. We got to move on and go win next week. So that's where we're going to start at, but it's definitely disappointing for sure.
Trevor Lawrence certainly seems level-headed after a performance like that for the Jaguars. First time out, and I could listen to him talk all day. Hopefully more after wins in the weeks ahead, but it feels like it's it's not overwhelming for him, I guess is the best way to say it.
I mean, total pro. I mean, you can't ask for anything better out of your starting quarterback than how he stood up there, was accountable, and then also talked about what we need to do moving forward. I mean, that's what you do when you're a leader, and that's why he was elected being a captain at being such a young age. I mean, that just doesn't happen very often. I think even some guys around the National Football League, Tyrann Mathieu, actually made a comment on social media that said, wow, I just watched Trevor Lawrence post game, and this guy's going to be okay.
Honey Badger knows what's up.
But, I mean, seriously, I mean, we've seen it all preseason. You know, we've had the luxury of watching Trevor Lawrence and his press conferences, et cetera, and he has been a joy. He's humble, he's honest, he is thoughtful, and all the things that you want to be able to see in your quarterback. And then now you go, okay, well, he was 68-0 as a starter through high school and through college. What happens if something goes bad? How will he be then? Well, we just got the answer to that. He did great. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more out of one of your leaders than your quarterback. Now, there's a lot of things that he has to get better at. I mean, JP, that's very obvious.
Sure.
And I think everybody can see that. But there were a lot of positives to his performance as well.
Let's go to the defensive side, Logs. The Jags defense gave up 6 plays of 20 or more yards. Josh Allen, Jaguars outside linebacker and defensive end, said they were close on a few of those.
You know, we had a couple, plays when they had long games, but defense, we stay strong. You know what I'm saying? We didn't give up touchdowns, not all the time. So we just got to convert those to turnovers, man. We got to get the ball. That's one thing we have to really harp on, is getting the ball. We didn't have that many opportunities to get the ball, but we got to go get them. And that's up to me. That's up to, all the other defensive players. We got to get the ball. Got to.
Josh Allen, they lost the turnover margin 3-0 on Sunday. And to his point there, Logs, the interceptions off Lawrence in the first half, the Justin Reed interception was brought back to near midfield.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Jags defense coming off that got a 3-and-out, got him off the field.
Well, you gave up 3 points off of three offensive giveaways.
That's pretty good.
That's really good. I mean, that's
one of
not
those was
pretty good. That's really good.
The second interception was a 25-yard field goal. I mean, they're inside the red zone after the play. I mean, that's big time.
If you want to point
defense
to a positive, that was the number one positive to the Jaguars' defensive performance, was their performance on sudden change. I mean, that was where it was at. Now, look, you go into a game against the Texans and you know what the goals are. They're very clear as a defense. Number one, stop an offense that has 5 running backs on the roster, because you know what they want to do. They want to run the football. Okay, so did you accomplish that? And my point was that you don't do okay, was that you have to own the Texans running game, because if you do, then you put Tyrod Taylor in a situation that he doesn't like, which is obvious passing situations. Make him be a drop-back passer.
Yeah, stand in the pocket to do that. Yes.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Whereas instead of, they can run play action, get them out, move them around, which they were able to do that because the Texans' running game was decent. Now, the total numbers doesn't make it or give it the appearance that it was dominant, because it wasn't dominant, but I thought the Texans' offensive line won the line of scrimmage. I mean, if you had to say, hey, where's the winner, or is it the Jaguars' offensive or defensive line, or is it the Texans' offensive line? I mean, if I had to declare a winner, because that's winners and losers, right?
That's what they say.
Okay, then I would say that the Texans were the winner. Now, is there some good things in there? Sure. I think there's some good things. I thought Malcolm Brown and Roy Robertson Harris played well at times. And
Josh Allen, how did he play?
I thought he was strong. I thought he was athletic. Look, and here's the thing. He's going against a really good football player now. Okay? Laramie Tunsil is one of the better left tackles in the game, so he was getting some reps against him. And then the other thing, too, that I will add is that there has to be a little better performance out of Devon Hamilton in the middle.
See, he shined in the preseason and training camp. He was a big talking point for us on a lot of these shows, that he was really standing out, especially in the one-on-one thing.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Is that, hey, look, he showed us what he could be in the preseason. He showed us what he could be in training camp. I mean, this guy can be an absolute dominant defensive player. Got pushed around a little bit. And he's capable of better.
Plenty ahead. We are just getting started on this Tuesday edition. Yes, Tuesday edition of Jaguars Happy Hour. This will be our regular time slot, 4 o'clock on 1010XL AM and 92.5 FM. Glad you're along with us today as we rehash for the final time the Week 1 loss to the Houston Texans. We'll look ahead a little later to the Denver Broncos. We'll come back with a look around the AFC South in Week 1 and a surprise first-place team alone at the top of the division. Season tickets, single-game tickets, and group tickets. Be a part of the new era of Jaguars football and own it. Visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We're off and running. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Dreamfinders Homes, homes that fit your lifestyle. And by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Headquartered right here in Jacksonville, CSI Companies is one of the fastest growing workforce solutions companies in the nation. As a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI has the resources necessary to scale with any enterprise, yet they are small enough to maintain the agility, personal service, and remarkable experience they've become known for over the past 3 decades. This is your workforce and your business reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com to learn more.
Hey Jaguars fans, it's always game on with Dunkin's $2 medium hot or iced coffee Tuesdays for rewards members. The NFL season is more than just what happens on game day. That's why Dunkin' wants to get you through the game week too. During football season, the best call is always Dunkin'. Whether it's the morning after a late night game or getting hyped for the week to come, pick up a cup of your favorite coffee and tackle the day with Dunkin'. Join today and order ahead of the Dunkin' app. Jacksonville Jaguars run on Dunkin'. Exclusions apply. Participation may vary. Limit 1 per week.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 44 years straight. Built for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Dempsey and Fat Tony. Jaguars Today. All Jaguars, all NFL, all the time. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Yeah, just keep trusting it. It's going to come. Obviously, there was ups and downs. I thought we didn't start great, but then right after that first drive, like I said, we kind of had some momentum, started playing well. And then just up and down the whole game, and just telling the O-line, all of us just, hey, stick together. Keep making plays, keep playing. Even at the end, like, I know didn't change the game, but going and scoring right there, like, I like how we fought and you know, got that last drive, a good 2-minute drill, put it in, looked clean. That was great. I thought that was good for us. Obviously, like I said, didn't change the game, but I liked how we kept playing, and that was the one thing that, nobody quit. And obviously it was a rough game. We're going to get better, but that was the main thing, is just keep playing. We're going to make the plays. I'm going to get better, and we're going to make those. I missed some bad ones today and obviously had too many turnovers, but we'll get better.
This could be the Trevor Lawrence show, I think, if we wanted it to be. He's fantastic after the game Sunday. A Jaguars lost to the Texans. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman coming up at 5 o'clock. The Urban Meyer show on the Jaguars Radio Network. We'll hear from the Jaguars head coach and get his thoughts about the final thoughts from week number 1 and look ahead to the Denver Broncos. We'll, on this program coming up in the next few minutes, look at the Broncos as well. And look around the AFC South and go through all the games in the division. All that's coming up on Jaguars Happy Hour. And
let me throw a comment out there real quick.
Yes,
because we just came off of Trevor Lawrence, and he's looking inward. He's saying, "Hey, look, here's what I got to do." And I think when you talk to the media, that's what you need to do. Hey, look, we need to do better. I need to do better. So you don't point out what maybe some other position groups need to do better at. But I will tell you that two areas got to get better for this team. First of all, the mental stuff has got to get better.
Sure.
The offensive line performance has to reach a higher level of consistency.
How so?
Well, I thought the tackles still showed some signs, and mainly because of the score and the situation. They were down a tremendous amount. Now you're in obvious passing situations. That's what they struggled with last year. But you still need to get better at that, and the pass protection was an issue at times with the tackles. I thought A.J. Ken played arguably the worst game he's ever played. And I'm shocked, because A.J. is typically really consistent. Really, the last couple of years A.J. has been fantastic, and then he had this game, which I don't remember him having a game like this in his career, and so I hope it's just an anomaly.
Was it just him getting pushed around? Was he getting beat all the time?
Well, it was a little bit of everything, JP.
All the above.
Yeah, he didn't grade out very well. I don't know what the grade officially would be, but, when you have a performance like that, then, coaches are going to go, wait a minute here. That's not winning football. If it's not better, we need to replace it. Or the coaches may just say, hey, look, you didn't play well, and we're going to play somebody else. When you play like that.
Yeah.
And look, here's the one thing, and I'm not trying to be super critical of AJ, because look, like I said, he's been super consistent for many years. Did he not just spend some time on the COVID list?
Yes, a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep,
I'm just hoping he's okay, and that's not maybe an effect from being on the COVID list or anything like that. So that's why I kind of say, hey, I just want to mention that, because could that have been maybe something that had a little something to do with the performance? I don't know. Because, you hear some stories from players that have had COVID that have had a hard time coming back. Myles Garrett, look at him last year.
Yeah.
He was off to a pace that was going to nearly set the record in sacks in a season. And then he got COVID, and when he came back, he wasn't the same. So I'm just saying, I just wonder. And I didn't talk to AJ, obviously.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I hope he's good, and I hope it's just, it was a performance thing, and it's not going to happen again.
Turn the page, move
The
on.
receivers also, JP, got to catch the ball.
Bunch of drops in the game. And, this is an interesting point that I was watching Monday Night Football last night, the Peyton and Eli broadcast on ESPN2 last night. And there was a point in the game later in the second half where they talked about some of the lack of chemistry for one of the receivers and quarterback, and I forget which side. And they said that training camp was where, hey, we need all our receivers active, available, ready to go in training camp. And maybe or maybe not the preseason games, but on those days you're out there practicing, that's where you build that. Well, DJ Chark didn't have a lot of time on the practice field.
No, he had a finger surgery and was out for a considerable amount of time.
So he was targeted, 12 times in the game and had 3 catches.
That's not a very good target-to-catch ratio.
No.
And some of those are on him. Some of them are on the quarterback. The one thing I think that, if you could go back and have maybe a do-over and say, okay, well, would we go ahead and commit to Trevor Lawrence being the starter at an earlier time to allow more chemistry to be developed with, your starting quarterback and a wide receiver? Yeah, hindsight, you probably do that. But, You also, they felt like it was important to have this competition go on for a certain period of time, and I understand that too.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I always kind of look back on is the time that we spent up in New England when the Jaguars were going to play the New England Patriots in the preseason. We got an opportunity to watch Tom Brady and how he goes about his business and how he practices. He wouldn't practice with a wide receiver that wasn't going to not make the team, okay? He had 4 or 5 wide receivers, and really it was probably only 4, maybe even 3 for the most part. There was 3, 4 guys that he would work with. That's it.
We'll let Matt Castle throw to the rest of them or whoever the backup is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because what's important? Is it important for Tom Brady to get chemistry with a guy that's not going to be on the roster? No. The importance is that having your starting quarterback get chemistry with the guy that's going to be catching the ball for real in the regular season. And so I think that's something that will, look, when Trevor Lawrence is, the clear starter, in which he is now going forward, that chemistry will continue to build, and it takes time. I mean, heck, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, I mean, it took them a couple years to kind of get that thing and get it rolling, you know? So it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, and the more they play, the better they'll play.
Run pass, we kind of touched on this earlier, but they were behind the chains early in the game and had to get away from that. But then when they ran the ball, the numbers show that they were pretty effective.
Okay, but here's the one thing. When you say, okay, they get behind the chains, okay, well, that doesn't mean that you still have to throw the football, okay? You go back and look at what the Chargers did last year with Anthony Lynn as their head coach, and he got fired.
Yes, he did.
But the quarterback had a tremendous year, Justin Herbert.
Yes, he did.
Tremendous year. And I think one of the reasons why he had such a tremendous year is that they did a tremendous job of managing him. And when I say managing him, for example, 1st and 10, okay, you run the football or you throw it, and let's say you only gain 1 yard. Now you're looking at 2nd and 9. So do you throw the ball because it's 2nd and long? Or do you go, you know what, let's stay committed to the run game and hand the ball off? If it becomes a 2nd and 12 or a 2nd and 15 because you have a penalty on 1st down, it's okay to run the ball still, okay, because you know what? 3rd and 9, okay, if you have a decent gain, is way better than an incompletion on 2nd and 15.
True.
And having your young quarterback to line up on a 3rd and 15.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so there's some things that you can do to help him because you're trying to manage him and help him manage the game. And so I think, and part of that is just being a little bit more run-oriented and a little bit more conservative, especially at the early stages of the career. But at some point, Trevor Lawrence is just, you're going to go, the guy's awesome. Let's cut him loose, let him go.
Yeah, but we're not there yet. It's 1 week.
Oh, yeah, he's not there yet. It takes time. It takes time.
Week 2 logs.
We
got 17 games this year, 17 games the next year, and who knows? I mean, we got a long career hopefully ahead of this guy. Don't have to get it all in 1 week.
No.
It'd be nice.
But I think they could have helped him a little bit in this game. And because I think at one point early in the ball game, and I don't remember exactly what the run ratio was, but early in the ball game it was
pass.
It was a lot of pass.
A lot of passing.
It was a lot of pass.
Yep.
And you got to help him out.
Let's come back in a moment. We'll go around the AFC South, look at the division standings, and review some of the other games in the division that happened in week number 1. Check out the official Jaguars Podcast Network, a free subscription on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you download your pods. Give us that 5-star rating as always. It is Tuesday, and it is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by TIAA Bank. Turn potential into progress. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
If something's been hurting, aching, or bothering you, don't ignore it any longer. It's time to take care of your health again. It's time to make an appointment with a Baptist Health primary care doctor or specialist. Call 904-202-4U to schedule a virtual visit or see a doctor in person at a Baptist Health location. The time for better health is here. Call 904-202-4YOU or visit getbetterjacks.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 44 years straight. Built for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
This is Ice-T, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Matty Ice.
This is a cold call.
I convinced NFL teams to turn to cold water washing with Tide.
The NFL, your uniforms get dirty.
Tide can handle it, even in cold. Plus, if fans join in, they can save up to $150 on their energy bill.
Looks like you just made the team, rookie. Turn to cold with Tide. And that's the bottom line.
It's got to be Tide. Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
When Jaguars news breaks, you'll hear about it first on 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour on a Tuesday afternoon. Yes, indeed. My name's JP Shadrick. That's Jeff Lageman. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Coming up at 5 o'clock, it's the Urban Meyer Show. We'll hear from the Jaguars head coach and get his final thoughts on Week 1. And we'll see if he lives by the 24-hour rule. I bet he's not quite there yet, Logs.
I can tell you this. I never had a 24-hour rule. I mean, let it eat at you. I mean, that sometimes it's, if you win, have a 24-hour rule.
Okay, and then move on. Okay,
make it a 48-hour rule. Okay,
36 maybe, day and a half.
No, 48's good.
2 days.
Yeah,
2 whole days.
Yeah, enjoy it. I mean, you work hard. I mean, why not enjoy
wins are tough to come by in the NFL.
Why not enjoy the fruits of your victory?
We know that.
And if you lose, something that kind of just sticks in your craw, you know?
Yeah, well.
I mean, why not have that help motivate you for the whole week until the next game? So then it would become
96 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All that. It's a lot of math here.
Is that right?
I don't know.
Somebody check that?
Yeah. 96 divided by 12. Is that 5 days? I don't know.
Well, 24 hours in a day, JP.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't know.
So
3 days.
Well, I said it for a week, and JP throws out there 96 hours, okay? Okay?
8 days.
No.
I'm so confused.
No, that's not 8 days.
What in the world are we talking about?
That's 8 half days.
4 days.
Okay, 96 divided by 12 is what? Okay.
So 4 days.
No, to divide 96.
24,
no,
12 times 2 is
no.
24.
Joe, okay, divide 96 by 24. Okay, because that's why I said a week, and he throws out 96 hours.
Yeah, it's 4 days. 4 days.
Okay.
See?
Okay, no. Okay, so that's 4 days. So I didn't say the 4-day rule.
96 hours.
I said let it eat at you the entire week until you play another game.
Okay, so more than 96.
So that would be like 7 days.
Like
or
100 and something days.
6.5 days
A
to
lot
be
of hours.
real.
What are you saying?
I don't know, Ashlyn, what we're saying, but thank you.
So it would be more like along the lines of 144.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mark. Let's move forward,
That's
shall we?
6 times 24.
Oh, I know the math in the AFC South is in favor of the Houston Texans.
Do you want to check that real quick,
At the
JP?
moment, no, I do not. The Texans are in first place alone in the division at 1-0. Indy lost their game, as did Tennessee, and of course the Jaguars lost to the Houston Texans, the only in-division game. The Seahawks.
Good thing there's only one numbers for you to add in that column.
Yeah, it's going to get more difficult once we get to double digits, I think. I'll have to take off my shoes and count. The Seahawks over the Colts, 28-16. Russell Wilson threw 4 touchdown passes in the game.
He's pretty good.
And the Seahawks defense hit Carson Wentz 10 times in the game, officially. That's a lot.
And that's one of the films that I would like to see, and obviously haven't had a chance to do that. I'm just working on the Jaguars film and trying to get some Broncos film in, but at some point I'd like to see that because
how did they do that?
I mean, Carson Wentz is the reality is that he hasn't played well. So how many of the hits that he took were on him, right? I mean, because good quarterbacks help themselves, and that's one of the points that I was making about Trevor Lawrence and in our conversation earlier about how they gave up 1 sack. Okay. Does he give up or does he get sacked more if he's not, because of the pocket presence, the eyes are down the field all the time. He's got great pocket mobility. I mean, these are things that I think you don't coach. If you can't be coached, some of that is innate. You either have it or you don't. And he has it. So now you just need to work on making sure that some of the reads are better.
Some fine-tuning, sure. Yeah.
Some of the throws and the decision-making on the throws are better because, obviously he had some interceptions.
The Cardinals blasted the Titans 38-13 as we continue our look around the AFC South.
Cardinals are that's a football team that I will say this. They're hard to figure out.
When you have Kyler Murray playing like that, 4 touchdowns through the air, another on the ground, and then
who had him in fantasy?
Their defense shutting down the Titans' run game. I mean, the Titans ran for 86 yards as a team. Who does that against the Titans? Derrick Henry.
Nobody.
So Henry had 58 yards in the game. They shut those guys down. Tannehill.
Wait a minute.
They didn't have the run game.
What did
DeAndre
DeAndre Hopkins do?
DeAndre Hopkins had a nice day at the office. A couple touchdowns as well. 6 catches, 83 yards. And so Murray to Hopkins was a nice connection for the Cardinals, and they just outgunned the Titans.
Well, the Titans. What did Derrick Henry end up with?
58 yards on 17 carries.
I mean,
wow. Pretty good.
Chandler Jones, 5 sacks.
5. Count them.
5 sacks. Taylor Lewan, right? I mean, and I don't know if he got them all over Taylor Lewan, but
I think there were 4 of the 5 on Taylor Lewan. I believe that was the guess.
He's supposed to be a Pro Bowl tackle.
Yeah.
So
he's been banged up, I think. But yeah.
What week do the Jags play?
It's coming up. That's next week.
Okay.
They're coming in hot.
All right. Well, you have back-to-back weeks where you better get ready to play. You better bring your lunchbox because, and I'm talking if you're playing tackle, you better bring your lunch pail because you have Von Miller, possibly Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, sounds like he could be back.
And then Chandler Jones the week after.
Yeah.
Okay,
wow.
That this is what when it comes to playing left tackle, this is a tough test now. It's a tough couple weeks. And what's the best thing in the world you could have as a left tackle with a great pass rusher?
Run the ball.
Doggone right.
Run the
ball.
Run the daylights out of the ball.
Run the ball. Run the ball.
Run the ball right at him.
Get rid of the ball quick.
Run
the ball. Run the ball. Run the ball. Get rid of it quick.
Quick release. Let's take a look at the Colts' upcoming schedule. The Rams at home in Indy this week, and then they're at the Titans and then at the Dolphins coming up. The Tennessee Titans schedule ahead at the Seahawks this week, home against the Colts, and then at the New York Jets. And we take a look at the Houston Texans. Of course, the Texans are in first place. They're at the Browns this week. Tough game. Home against Carolina, and then at the Bills. That's a tough schedule, at least early in the first quarter for Houston.
It's going to be interesting to watch how the Texans defense handles the Browns running attack. Because you do the comparison thing. The Jaguars ran the ball, but James Robinson only had 9 touches.
Well, Robinson had 5. Yeah, Hyde had 9.
Or excuse me, 9.
That's right.
9 and 5.
Yep.
So my question is, okay, what do the Texans do this week against the Browns? Do the Browns come out and just run it all over the Texans? And then as a Jaguar fan, armchair quarterback here going, man, the Jaguars should have run it more. Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of your natural reaction. So that'll be a good football game.
Jaguars coming up, of course, the Denver Broncos this week. The game presented by TIAA Bank. Turn potential into progress here at TIAA Bank Field this Sunday, 1 o'clock. And then home against the Cardinals September 26th, and then at Cincinnati on a short week on Thursday Night Football. That's the first quarter of the season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're back in a moment.
I just want one quick thing.
Yes, sir.
I really think that when the schedule came out, everybody was looking at the Broncos game and saying, hey, you got a chance. With Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback, I think that made this game more difficult. Much more difficult than if Drew Lock were the quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater does a better job protecting the ball. He has a higher completion percentage.
Very high.
He's got a lot of experience, and he's a better game manager than what Drew Lock has shown.
Steady Teddy.
And when you play good defense, steady is way better than erratic. And that makes this game, I think, a challenge, more so than maybe what we thought it was going to be early on. But now that Bridgewater's a quarterback, I think that makes this game harder.
If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Injury report coming up and a look ahead to the Denver Broncos when we return. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, yes, on a Tuesday on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com. Hey Jaguars fans, it's always game on with Dunkin's $2 medium hot or iced coffee Tuesdays for rewards members. The NFL season is more than just what happens on game day. That's why Dunkin' wants to get you through the game week too. During football season, the best call is always Dunkin'. Whether it's the morning after a late night game or getting hyped for the week to come, pick up a cup of your favorite coffee and tackle the day with Dunkin'. Join today and order ahead of the Dunkin' app. Jacksonville Jaguars run on Dunkin'. Exclusions apply. Participation may vary. Limit 1 per week.
This is Ice-T, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Matty Ice.
This is a cold call.
I convinced NFL teams to turn to cold water washing with Tide.
The NFL, your uniforms get dirty.
Tide can handle it, even in cold. Plus, if fans join in, they can save up to $150 on their energy bill.
Looks like you just made the team, rookie. Turn to cold with Tide. And that's the bottom line.
It's got to be Tide. Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville Sports Talk for Jacksonville sports fans. 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It is Tuesday afternoon, and this is Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman. Coming up at 5 o'clock, the Urban Meyer Show. This is the new day. And 5 o'clock, the new day and time for the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network. Coming up in just a few minutes. Veterans choose VA for the benefits you've earned. Visit choose.va.gov. Busy schedule at Daly's Place coming up as well at the end of September and even on into October. Trippy Red on the 18th. Carlos Santana, the legend, September 21st. 311, September 22nd. Counting Crows, the 23rd. And then Coheed and Cambria, the 24th.
If you could pick one
tickets
show,
at dailysplace.com.
If you could pick one show to go to,
Of-
if you can
of
only go to
those-
one.
of those five?
Out of those five. What are you picking?
Ooh.
That's not an easy question.
I've seen Santana. He's fantastic. The
Mhm.
band's outstanding. They do a great job. But I've seen them. I've never seen Counting Crows or 311.
Okay.
That's probably my style. One of those two.
Yeah,
Or probably Counting Crows. I've never seen Counting Crows.
I haven't seen
if they
Santana,
play Mr.
so I mean-
Jones. Better play Mr. Jones, or it's not going to go well.
I mean, I would probably, if I had to pick the best music out of all of it that I would enjoy, I would pick the Counting Crows. But because I've never seen Santana, I would probably lean towards Santana.
I think you'd love Santana.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Just to say that I saw him.
I mean, yes. The
You
guy
know,
played Woodstock, for
and
goodness sake.
it's like listening to Charlie Daniels. You know, if you see him, you got to say.
Hold on. So I don't know if that's quite the comparison, right? I mean,
What, they're
Santana-
legends.
They both are.
in their own
yes.
genres. I
Sure.
mean, there's an absolute comparison.
Well, that's the comparison, yes.
Yeah.
Different styles.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that they're in the same category of music. You know, totally different. I like all kinds of music.
So, by the way, you brought him Charlie Daniels up. He was a session player for a couple of Bob Dylan albums when Dylan recorded in Nashville.
Pretty wild,
Little
right?
known
Yeah,
fact.
pretty wild.
How about that?
I know you're a music guy.
And Carlos Santana's fantastic.
You're a music guy.
Tickets at dailysplace.com. I tried to get the couch from I almost said Carlos Santana, from Tony Baselli last night on Jaguars Happy Hour, but he said he claimed he didn't have access. I'm just throwing it out
that's
there.
a lie.
If anybody wants to give up the couch for Santana, I'm all in. Injury report presented by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. Last week, Trey Herndon was on the list. Is not available for the game, a knee. Tyson Campbell with an ankle issue. He played in the game on Sunday, and Jordan Smith was added to the official injury report on Friday with a knee issue. He was inactive for the game. And Urban Meyer said that they came away from the game relatively healthy.
Okay, here's my little sheet that I use for the game, and you can zero in on this. Okay?
It's a legal pad.
It's
and
a legal
A
pad.
white legal pad.
Okay, and you can probably see some colors on it. I use.
There's a highlighter. It's a pink highlighter with black pen.
Pink is could be a Texans possession at the left side here, and then a positive play for the Texans. Blue, Jaguars possessions, etc.
Great.
Up here is the area that I kind of reserve for injuries that
At the very
affect the
top.
game. Okay.
Right.
And the only thing that I have written up here that are at the top are actually notations that I made while I was watching film. So, in other words, there were no injuries.
Didn't see it during the game.
No, I did. The one thing I did see that made me go, was there was one catch that Marvin Jones makes that kind of gets up and he's kind of holding that right hand wrist a little bit. And I made a comment about it during the game broadcast. He played the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong that it was anything of major significance because he continued to play, but just something to keep an eye on.
Remember, he got nicked up a little bit in the Saints game in the preseason.
Well, he had the shoulder.
Shoulder thing.
Okay, he had the shoulder.
Remember
so
that?
what I was wondering during the game, because, when you hold your hand, sometimes when you hold your hand, you can have maybe a radiating stinger or something of that nature that goes down the arm, or you could have some kind of ill effects going on down your hand. So, when I say he's kind of holding his hand, I'm not saying that it's his hand that got hurt, but something there on his upper body, right side, looked like was bothering him a little bit.
But the pro he is, he had 5 catches, 77 yards. That last touchdown with seconds to go, the guy powered through and played, and that's what you need on this offense right now.
Yeah, he did a good job, and when you look at all the receivers, the one thing that kind of stands out, which is pretty neat about the statistical system that we use for the game broadcast is, and for years you didn't have that, but now you do, is they actually show targets and receptions.
Correct.
And if you look at the Jaguars, and you were talking about chemistry and needing to practice together, you just look at your Jaguars' top receivers. And if you look at the top three are who? Marvin Jones, DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault.
That's right.
Okay, now I'm going to quiz you here. Don't be looking at the sheet.
I'm looking at it right here. You told me to look at the sheet. You said if you're looking at the sheet, and I looked at the sheet.
Who had the highest target-to-catch ratio?
Laviska Shenault.
Who
9
never
to 7.
missed a practice in training camp with the quarterback?
That's Laviska Shenault.
Exactly.
9 targets, 7 catches, 50 yards in the game. Now
it matters. My point
average,
is the chemistry was worked on through training camp with Laviska.
Now
high percentage throws.
I'm going to say
too.
the same thing. There was a lot of short yardage. His average was 7 yards a catch.
A lot
Nothing
of short
down the
stuff,
field.
the quick wide receiver screens, and to the
That's
point
kind
where
of his game.
Sure. But it's also that's a good thing, and that you can see that the chemistry is better with him.
James O'Shaughnessy was out there a good bit in camp too, and he had 8 targets, 6 catches.
And there was a couple that the quarterback misfired.
Yeah.
Now two of them where O'Shaughnessy didn't have a chance, and but yeah, so good stuff. And I want to see a little bit more explosion out of James O'Shaughnessy. By the way, he had him and the tight end Manhurts. The 13-yard run, which was that the longest run of the day? It was the longest run of the day. Longest run of the day. It was a combo block between Manhurts and James O'Shaughnessy, and I'm going to do this film room for Jaguar social media, so they will tweet it out.
On Twitter,
Twitter it out?
You would tweet it out on Twitter. Yes, that's how it works.
But I showed the block on that drive that led to Trevor Lawrence's first touchdown throw. Manhurts and O'Shaughnessy had a great combo block where they had to block, I think it was Charles Omenihu, and then the great Zach Cunningham. Which is not an easy block.
Oh, good player.
And holy cow, what a great job by both of them opening the hole for Carlos Hyde. So look for that on social. And just to do a little other self-promotion here.
Yeah, please do.
Because I can. It's Tuesday.
You can do whatever you'd like.
So I can actually promote.
It's a whole new day.
What is happening. I'm a little sound. Thank you very much.
It's a new era of Jaguars radio.
Tomorrow night on Jags Wired, we will look at what is called a zone window on Trevor Lawrence's first touchdown pass in his career. Okay, and if you don't know about zone windows, tune in. It was a 3-deep zone, and we will explain to you
what the heck that means.
What stressed the defender, which led to the window, which led to the touchdown to Manhurts. And then
there's more, but wait, there's more.
There is more. Jaguars All Access Thursday night still stays on Thursday night. We didn't move that to Tuesday night.
Okay, good.
Okay, that's still on Thursday night. And on Thursday night, we will look at the second touchdown that Trevor Lawrence throws.
I'll tell you what, that's a lot.
Cover 2. That's a cover 2, and that also was a zone window that he found.
For those not keeping score, there's a lot of content coming from Jeff Lageman. Check it out
DJ Chark
at Jaguars on social media, on Twitter. And then Fox 30 television Thursday night at 7 o'clock. You'll have all the film room you could shake a stick at. So the Broncos knocked off the Giants in week 1, 27-13. Bridgewater threw a couple of touchdown passes, threw for 264 yards, was 28 of 36. But Melvin Gordon ran the football. He had a 70-yard run late to really put the thing away in the game.
That's why I put him over 100.
101 in the game. And, they've got, as we talked about, Jerry Jeudy's not going to be available. It sounds like he's out for a few weeks, the receiver.
Look at the other running backs numbers. Okay.
Yeah, Williams,
okay.
45.
They have 2 running backs now.
Yep. Williams, 45 on 14.
Okay, Williams is a second-round pick, out of University of North Carolina.
Tar Heel.
And they definitely, if you look at their run-pass ratio, you take out Teddy Bridgewater's runs because I don't really factor them in, that's 25 rushes on the ground, 36 passes in the air for Teddy Bridgewater. Not a bad mix. The one thing is for certain, and this is unrelated to the Broncos coming in here to play the Jaguars, Dave Gettleman's going to be on the hot seat, and he was on the hot seat, and it just got hotter.
Oh, New York?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you draft a quarterback, typically you get one drafted quarterback, and if it doesn't work, you lose your job. I mean, so Dave Gettleman, commits to his draft pick, and right now that's kind of not working out very well. And Barkley averages less than 3 yards a carry, who had been their workhorse.
He's still kind of coming back, though.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
he better row the boat quicker.
You take note. I mean, right? I mean, you take note, and New York is not a very nice market. I can tell you that. Been there, done that.
You would know from experience. Jerry Jeudy made 6 catches, 72 yards for the Broncos last week, but he's now been placed on IR with a high ankle sprain. So at least 4 to 6 weeks he'll be gone, according to the
It almost
reports.
looked a little scary, that injury, right? I don't. Did you see the replay?
I did not see the replay.
Yeah,
no.
It didn't look good. I stayed up very late on Sunday night and was eating crackers and cheese and watching the highlights on the NFL Network.
Really? Crackers and cheese. That's really descriptive.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Palmetto cheese and crackers.
Oh, that, yeah.
On Sunday night, late night. Get out of town, man. That's the way to watch the NFL highlights.
Now, I can't say much because I am a little larger than normal right now. But
that's
if
why
I
weigh so much right now.
If I followed every food recommendation you gave, I'd be like 500 pounds.
Well, that's why I'm a little overweight right now.
Anyway,
I gotta lose some weight.
You got to see the game, and
Jerry Jeudy, the injury, it did not look pretty.
Right.
Okay. So, and I wanted to see it. Look, anytime you face somebody, I think even as a player, you want to see a team at full strength. I mean, from the standpoint of if you face the Chiefs, you'd love to be able to face them without Patrick Mahomes. But I mean, you play the game to play the best. That's what you're here for. So I mean. Disappointed that Jeudy got hurt.
Final thought here. Speaking of the best, I think you could categorize Von Miller as the best pass rusher in the National Football League. He missed last year. He's back. Would you not?
I would not put him in the category of the best pass rusher in the National Football League. There was a guy that got 5 sacks.
Okay. I mean, Von's done it at the highest of levels for a long time.
He has. But he's had issues staying healthy recently. Okay. Now, Chandler Jones has had some injury history recently too, but not like Von Miller. Von Miller's been a couple of years. And if you want to look at what the best pass rusher is in the National Football League, I'm going to Cleveland.
Oh, Myles Garrett. Huh?
I'm taking him every time. I think
I think he's overtaken Vaughn.
I think no, because you know what? The other guy in Pittsburgh is better than Vaughn right now.
Ooh, what?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers.
There you go.
Look at the numbers.
He's still going to block the guy on Sunday, though.
Who?
Von Miller.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's not like he's
totally agree with you.
chopped liver all of a sudden.
I totally agree with you, but look, Watt in Pittsburgh, it's hard to argue against his numbers. But from just watching and appreciating the physical skill set, okay, like I said, in Cleveland resides the most potent, most difficult guy to block as a pass rusher, period.
So there you have it, the Jaguars and the Broncos coming up Sunday at TIAA Bank Field, the game presented by TIAA Bank. And coming up, network coverage begins at 5 o'clock, about a minute from now, the Urban Meyer Show. We'll hear from the Jaguars head coach, get his final thoughts on last week's game, and look ahead a little bit to week number 2 against Denver. All that coming up. The Urban Meyer Show is next. This has been Jaguars Happy Hour, yes, on a Tuesday, and it will be moving forward on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Own this thing. It's ours. Come on, let's go. Duval County and 904. Let's own this stadium. Make it ours.
Welcome to the Urban Meyer Show. Urban Meyer Show. Former Jaguar Jeff Lageman and JP Shadrick discuss the latest Jaguars news with the head coach. The Urban Meyer Show starts right now.
Welcome in the Urban Meyer Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. JP Shadrick, Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman, and head coach Urban Meyer with us. Coach, good afternoon. Appreciate the time as always.
Yeah, good to be with you.
Let's get to it. Coming off a losing result last week, you know, back in your college days, and I know it's different now, your teams were 27-5 coming off losses in college, 23-4 if you take away the openers of seasons. But, you know, I know some of that is the personnel you had in college, but a lot of that is coming off a loss, motivating your team again, getting the staff ready to roll. How important is the preparation work and bounce back ability for a football team after a loss?
Well, the most important part is the locker room, is the leaders within a locker room. And you threw a couple numbers out there, and that, you know, that could have been a Bowling Green, that could have been a Utah. So it wasn't always a talent advantage. It was a very strong locker room. I feel very good about a locker room here. I just saw most of our players already today, and let's go back to work. We're disappointed with the way we played. Nothing to discredit our opponent because they played better than we did that day. We just had some stupid mistakes and got behind the chains a little bit on offense with penalties, and then we're playing catch-up, and we got to play better.
Part of those mistakes, Urban, a lot of them were controllable, whether you consider them mental errors or alignment errors or whatever they may be. How do you go about kind of balancing looking back to the past game and then also moving forward and going on to the next game?
Well, you have to put closure to a game when you play well or when you don't play well. And how do you do that? You come in the day after the game and hit it very hard, and then you just watch those things during practice. And position coaches have to bear the brunt of it because that's who they spend their time with. So whatever positions we're dealing with some issues, they have to get those fixed ASAP, and I'm confident that we did, so we've got to move forward.
You talked about how the locker room has a huge impact on how you move forward and make things positive. How did the locker room react yesterday? Because yesterday was a required day in. Today is a mandatory day off for the players besides the ones that get treatment. How was the reaction of the players?
Very good. You know, I believe in this team. I believe in these guys. I actually love these guys. These guys have been through a lot. And I expect them to come out. You know, tomorrow's going to be the key day. I think yesterday we had a team meeting, and then everybody went and I gave them a lot of time to watch the film, put it away. And then I expect, you know, because you're facing a very good defense and the team that won 27-7, I believe it was against the Giants. So you got to move forward fast, and we have to, as coaches, lead that charge.
Coach Urban Meyer with us on the Urban Meyer Show. I'm curious, when you go back and go through the tape, like the first time after a loss like that, how difficult is that process? And, you know, I think some other coaching staffs have called it like, you know, tell the truth Monday, that kind of thing. You may not name it like that, but how difficult is that process to go through? And then at some point you just got to kind of tell the truth on what happened, right?
Yeah, when you lose, it's awful. You can call it whatever you want on Monday. It's awful Monday to go in there and watch and realize that you could have done things better as a group. And so Monday was tough. Monday's a day, but once again, you can't. Someone made a comment. You can't lose two games in one day. You know, move on. You got to get going and correct the issues. There were some very good efforts on both sides of the ball. Special teams was other than the missed field goal, fairly dominant. We didn't have a good return game, but our coverage units were outstanding against a guy that I was really worried about, the returner for the Texans. So build on the strengths. We had guys, Trevor Lawrence got a lot of reps, threw the ball, 51 times, which is, I think that's what it was. That's not exactly who we're going to be, but we're going to have to do what we have to do. And our starters stayed in and kept playing and kept fighting, and that's what we're going to do.
Urban, we had talked last week about statistics, and two that were very specific. We talked about turnover differential. We also talked about starting field position, and both of those statistics were obvious areas that you want to make sure that you change that going forward.
Those are time-tested, Jeff. You know that as well as anybody. That's time-tested. Turnovers, when you're +1 is 67% chance you're going to the game. When you're -3, you have no chance. I don't say no chance, but minimal chance to go win a game. And we pride ourselves on field position and talk greatly about it, especially with special teams. But when you're turning the ball over and you're putting your defense in bad field position, that's, like I said, the opportunity to win games like that is minimal.
After the game, Trevor Lawrence, a game in which he had 3 interceptions and possibly could have had a 4th, Urban, watching him handle the microphone and the way he handled himself, I don't want to say it blew me away, but, he impressed me. He's always impressed me the way he's handled his business. But I thought that here it is, the first time he's lost a regular season football game, maybe going all the way back to Pee Wee, and how he handled himself in the post-game press conference I thought was just a real positive on his end.
Well, he owns it, as we say around here, and that's probably one of the reasons, not probably, but certainly one of the reasons why he really received so many votes from his peers to be a captain. He is a captain-type mentality. He's not a big rah-rah or outspoken guy, but he handles his business and he owns it, and I expect great improvement from Trevor. So does he.
You mentioned the captaincy of Lawrence. The days like the last couple of days is where those guys really step up and lead the way for all the units, the 10 strong on your team, right?
Well, that's I even made that comment. That's when you earn your captain stripes, not when you're blowing someone out or not when things go great. But as a leader, leaders drive the culture. Culture drives behavior, and that's how you get good performance. So I'm anticipating, and I talked to every one of them today, and I anticipate we'll get this thing going.
Urban, we'll come back in a moment, get into some individual results from last week and what some guys can do moving forward heading into week number 2. The official Jaguars Podcast Network is a free subscription on Apple iTunes or Spotify. Give us that 5-star rating and a comment. This is the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network. Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Urban Meyer Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, head coach Urban Meyer, the Jaguars and the Denver Broncos, presented by TIAA Bank this coming Sunday at TIAA Bank Field. Well, Coach, earlier you mentioned Trevor Lawrence throwing the ball 51 times, and something you don't want to make really a habit of. You said that, obviously, after the game last week. But of those throws and decisions that he made in that game last week, how did he grade overall? And, what can you build upon moving forward with Trevor?
Well, it's one of those things in the game of football. You can say, well, what if Tyrod Taylor did not scramble around and launch it down the field and two guys went up and made a play? What if Trevor did not make those errors on those three throws? It would have been a different game. Well, of course, but those do happen. And what if we didn't get that holding penalty on a 12, 14-yard run that Brandon Linder was actually accelerating his feet and blocking, the back judge threw the flag in there. So when talent's equated, which in the NFL it's every week, every drive, every play is critical. And our team knows that. So he graded okay. I mean, he wasn't his best day, but it was his first start as a NFL quarterback, and he needs more help around him. We need to protect better, and we certainly can't have the drops we had.
One of the areas that I thought he looked very strong in, Urban, was pocket presence. You look at the stat line, he was only sacked one time. I don't know if that's so much of a reflection on the protection of how good it is, as it more might be the way he handles himself in the pocket. Those things really stand out to me. Watching him, the way he manages the pocket, his eyes continue to stay down the field, arm strength, accuracy. Yes, he made some mistakes, but some of the things that he shows, are things that take a long time for some quarterbacks to learn and are innate, in my opinion, and some never learn it.
He's also got the gift of size, so he can see over people, and he's one of the few quarterbacks I've ever had that is that tall that can see over the rush, and so he doesn't panic. A lot of times sacks are caused when people panic, and he doesn't do that. And then the offense line, we didn't play great, but we certainly protected. When you throw the ball that many times, have one sack, that's pretty good. So the one thing he can do better is he's got great athleticism. And I see it all around the league that these guys take off and get positive yards and get a first down here or there. So when he sees an opening, that's something that maybe he can look at a little better too.
Urban, a lot was talked about yesterday, and I'm sure some is still being talked about today, about having a little bit more balance. Starting out the game, it was a little bit more pass. Is that something that going forward you're like, hey, look, we've got a young quarterback. Let's get a little bit more balance. Let's help ourselves out and manage the game a little bit better. Is that something you guys have talked about? Certainly, that's the intention, and you got behind the chains a little bit with the nonsense penalties that we had, and then next thing you know, you're in 1st and 20 or second and 15, and you're playing one-dimensional. So that's certainly the reason we got a guy like Manhurts and Luke Farrell, and you got the two running backs, Carlos and James, and that is certainly what the intention is.
Head coach Urban Meyer with us on the Urban Meyer Show. Let's flip the defense now, Coach. And I think you said Josh Allen was the best graded defensive player last week. It felt like he was all over the field. And, it's been the last couple of weeks of training camp and preseason, was off and on the COVID list at one point, some different things going on with him. But he came back strong, and, he got the lone sack in the game. There were a few other times that this group was close to Tyrod Taylor. But Josh Allen moving ahead now. That was a pretty good start to the season for him.
It was. He's healthy. He's strong. He played very hard. I hope this is a sign that he's a little bit like he was a couple years ago, and he certainly practices that way, and we all love the guy. We had him in our grass 3 times, Tyrod, and that's you got to get him down. And you think of 2 of those plays, it was really dead plays, and he launched it down the field and threw jump balls, and they came up with it. So Josh Allen played well, but you just got to corral the quarterback and get him to the ground.
Urban, one of the areas that I was watching during the game, you could see that sometimes you were trying to substitute and change personnel, and you guys defensively want to be multiple. How do you balance being multiple and changing personnel on the fly with also making sure that, you can get lined up and everybody's aware. I mean, first drive, for example, on the 3rd and 3, you got a guy kind of looking back to communicate with a teammate, and then all of a sudden the ball gets snapped and he loses track of his guy. Could have ended a drive. But, I mean, how do you balance the substitution with also making sure that you're going to get lined up?
Yeah, we had that chat, and we err on the side of making sure you have it in early and keep it simple for them. So I know at times, and that's one of the, the part of our package is multiple fronts and multiple groupings, especially, on both sides, but on defense. And, yeah, I was upset with that. You have to let the guys go out there and play.
And Tyrod Taylor, certainly we talked about him last week, about some of the amazing athleticism. I mean, the one play that he makes, I mean, sometimes you want to say, okay, we got to do better, but they get paid too. And Tyrod Taylor, when he makes a guy miss, Kayvon Chazon coming in unblocked, and all of a sudden he gets out of that somehow. I mean, how does that happen? I don't know, but it happens, but you certainly want to limit those things. And
he also had that zero blitz when where as he's falling backwards, he gets hit and throws the guy makes a one-handed catch. So, you give credit where credit's due, and we got to start making some of those darn plays. So,
Urban, let's come back in a moment. We'll get an early look at the Denver Broncos in week number 2. Jaguars Game Day broadcasts are presented by VyStar Credit Union, and this is the Urban Meyer Show on Jaguars Radio.
Coach Steve Austin and
Matty Ice.
This is a cold call.
I convinced NFL teams to turn to cold water washing with Tide.
The NFL, your uniforms get dirty.
Tide can handle it, even in cold. Plus, if fans join in, they can save up to $150 on their energy bill.
Looks like you just made the team, rookie.
Turn to cold with Tide.
And that's the bottom line.
It's got to be Tide. Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
A lot has changed in 60 years, but there's one thing that remains the same. Our commitment to our customers and to our community. There's no place like Jacksonville, and there's no place like Gate. Thank you for allowing us to serve you, past, present, and future. Now through August 31st, Jags fans can enjoy 2 of your favorite roller grill items for just $2 at participating Gate locations. Get them while they're hot. Gate, serving up more.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubbies Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show rolls along. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, head coach Urban Meyer. The Jaguars and the Denver Broncos game coming up Sunday at TIAA Bank Field. And the game presented by TIAA Bank, of course, in week number 2. And, you look at this Denver Broncos team, Coach, Teddy Bridgewater. He was in the 2011 recruiting class coming out of the Miami area. He had been actually had committed to Miami, and then Charlie Strong got him to come to Louisville after Randy Shannon was gone at the U down there. I know you were at ESPN in 2011, but what is your recollection of time with Teddy Bridgewater, maybe in the recruiting process?
Yeah, I didn't get involved with that one, but I know Charlie, he did a great job for Coach Strong at Louisville, and wonderful guy. I know enough about him. And he's a pro's pro. We saw his name out there, and a guy that could complement Trevor, too. We looked at him, and I just have great respect for him as a player.
Coach, this week, trying to bounce back from a loss, is there anything better than doing that at home? Here, you'll be able to come back and be a little bit amongst the confines of some fans that will certainly help you along the way.
Yeah, doggone it. I want this place to, that's just a dream of, we have a great owner. We have a great city. We got to develop to become a great team because these fans deserve it. And we want them to be out here. And, I made a comment earlier that, we have a reputation of giving away or selling tickets or something like that. I just have an incredible dream of what this stadium, I want this thing to look like. And so it starts this week. So I'd love to see everybody come out and as important as that is, or more important, we play well.
And the Denver Broncos come to town last week. They went on the road and beat the New York Giants. Good football team, and one thing that they're certainly known for, Vic Fangio, their head coach, is a defensive-minded guy, and he's got a couple really good football players on that defensive side of the ball.
Oh, their pass rushers. Von Miller is obviously one of the legendary pass rushers. Like, he's been around forever. And my first experience against him, I know of him. And he's electric fast. He changes up his rush on you. And you have to be aware, he lines up to our right side. And then Chubb, if he plays, is another. Didn't play last week, but he's another pass rusher. So they've done a good job loading that team up with good players. Very big inside and strong inside. So very well-coached defensive team.
And finally, final thought with you, Coach. Just getting back on track. Week number 2, it was 1 of 17 last week. You can turn the page on this Tuesday and look forward to week number 2, and that's the beauty of the NFL, a 24-hour rule. Do you live by that 24-hour rule? Yeah.
I wish I could, man. But I'd never. There's poster children for a way to do things and how not to do them and how I take a loss. But the best thing today, and I told the best 15 minutes of my day, and I do it about every hour, is I go walk down the train room and locker room and weight room and just talk to players. And that's what this whole thing's all about. It's always been that way for me. So go down and talk to them, and we all got to do better, and we are committed to do that.
I'm with you. I don't know how in the world anybody ever lived by a true 24-hour rule. I mean, heck, when you work so hard and all of a sudden it comes down to 3 hours, how can it not affect you beyond 24 hours?
My problem is I got to get over the 3-month rule or something like that. I got to get over the darn thing.
No doubt. Coach, appreciate your time. Good luck to you this week. We'll talk to you a little bit later.
Thank you.
Head coach Urban Meyer joining us, back with plenty more after this. It's the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's been around longer than your quarterback. When you put it on, everyone knows it's game time. So legendary, it deserves its own Hall of Fame. Members-only jackets, undeniable quality and style for over 45 years. Scratch and claw your way over to membersonly.com. Get ready for football season with a jacket that can only be summed up in one word: iconic. Use discount code Jaguars at checkout for 35% off on all iconic racer jackets. Members only. When you put it on, something happens.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk. Checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk. Checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Urban Meyer Show. Our thanks to head coach Urban Meyer for his time on this Tuesday afternoon. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman, Jaguars analyst, and plenty to go through there from the Jaguars head coach as he gets his final thoughts in from week one, the loss to the Texans. A little bit of looking ahead to the Denver Broncos, and they'll really, I think, get in the lab tonight and obviously on the practice field tomorrow to get ready for that matchup. And, we asked him at the end, do you really follow the 24-hour rule? He's like, it's really a 3-month rule, it feels like, for him. I think he's still trying to figure out how to move on from a tough loss.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I get it. And, there was a lot of conversation kind of throughout the offseason about how Urban would handle losing. And, show me somebody that handles losing and I'll show you a loser. I mean, you never want anybody that handles losing well, but you want somebody that can handle it as far as getting the team to improve to get out of losing. And during the broadcast of the game, I had made mention that a couple times that while he was on the sideline, he was, pacing.
Well, he was wearing a path out on the sideline over there, I think. That's right.
The soles of his shoes had to be hot.
Have to reimburse the Texans for the sideline.
He put some ruts in it, and understandably so. I mean, look, disappointing performance. That's not what you expect. And Trevor said after the game that, look, it was a good week of practice. And that's always hard because, I've always tried to figure out the formula, When I say the formula, you'd always kind of study your own team when you were a player. And if you had a good week of practice, you'd be like, yeah, we should be good.
Okay.
But there were weeks that we had, and it's crazy, there were weeks that we had good weeks of practice, and we didn't play well. And then there were also weeks that we did not have very good practices.
Show up Sunday.
And then we played well.
Right.
And so it's kind of maddening at times, but overall, for the most part, you have to practice well to play well. And that's very important because the only way you get better at football is to practice football and to get better at it while you're practicing. So that's something that they got to get back to work.
And Urban last week on the Urban Meyer Show on Thursday said that, they had a really good practice on Thursday. He was really happy with the way and the intensity of practice on Thursday, and it just didn't show up on Sunday.
Yeah, for whatever reason. And the great thing about the NFL and the challenging part about the NFL is that you get back to it pretty quick. Which the challenging part, when I say that being challenging and also nice at the same time, one, it's nice because you can get back to work right away and you're going to turn around and play another game very quickly. But the negative to that is that you've only got essentially a couple days of practice to improve on what you weren't good at before the next game. It's not like you have another off season. Okay, we're going to have another off season, and now you can play game 2.
No, we're in it now.
Yeah, it's time to rock and roll.
It's
so
here.
You don't have any time to waste. And if you waste time, you will fall behind even more than you were in week 1.
I think it was pretty clear also, and he said this a few times after the game since Sunday night, Monday, again today on this program. You got to balance it out a little bit more. You can't throw the ball 51 times every week and expect to have a positive result on offense.
No, and when I asked him also that, and then I asked him the question about defense and them trying to be multiple and subbing personnel, and he said, we had that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. That was it.
Which means that was talked about.
Yes.
That was dealt with, and he does not expect that to happen again.
Yes, that has been addressed. Let's put it that way.
I'm sure there was a lot of things that were addressed.
And you have to you approach it that way. Some bad things happen in the game, and you're going to hit it head on and then try to move forward. That's all you can do.
The one thing I when Urban was hired, one thing that I appreciated about what he was saying was he used the term accountability a lot. Mm-hmm. And even you go to George Warhop when he was interviewed shortly after the staff was announced, and a lot of these interviews were on Jaguars.com, and Warhop talked about, what he loved about it is that now there's one person that you need to please. The accountability is to one person, and that's Urban Meyer. And Urban Meyer, trust me, will hold people accountable. Make no mistake about it. He's the boss, and he will hold people accountable.
That's right. And sometimes that can be a little, tight. That's how it is sometimes. But That's the name of the game.
Well, the old saying is that things run downhill still applies.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
So in other words, when the head coach is saying that's not good enough to his assistants, then the assistants are getting critiqued, and then the assistants also need to be able to hold the players accountable. I mean, that's how. When I say downhill, I'm with you. No, saying it in a bad way. I'm just saying that's how it works.
That's right. And Urban has said that he's been clear with that throughout the entire offseason, and coming into it, he's going to be a little harder on the assistant coaches from time to time, and then. They can go out to the locker room and the players and their meeting rooms and make things right and make their unit strong. It's about the running back room, right? For just an example. Handle that room. Don't worry about all the other groups.
Mm-hmm.
Do your thing and then come back when it's time to come together as a team, and every unit will be its own strong group.
I think it'll be interesting to do they do some things differently in the next game? When I say that.
Like what?
Well, I mean, look. Obviously, they're going to do some things differently. I mean,
I would hope.
They're going to probably come out and have a little bit more balance on offense, but do they make any changes? Do they play guys at a different percentage? Do they replace a guy? Do they – I know Urban Meyer was asked about Andrew Wingard yesterday.
Yes.
And he made a comment about Cisco's coming along.
Yeah.
Okay, does Cisco, the draft pick from Syracuse, who – is coming back from a significant knee injury. Does he get more play time? I'd like to see it, but will that happen? I don't know. But, I mean, that's something to watch. Does the tough game by A.J. Cann, they talked up Ben Barch.
They did.
A lot in the preseason. Do now all of a sudden you put in Ben Barch a little bit to let him get some reps, or do you say, hey, look, we've had a veteran, and this is a new staff now. They probably haven't – Do they factor in how AJ has played in the past? The positional coach,
right? Warhop's been around him,
has been around him, and knows how he is. But does a new head coach say, "Hey, look, winners and losers, that wasn't good enough. Let's put Ben Barch in there"? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they address some of these things.
Plenty ahead on the Urban Meyer Show. We'll get into some of the penalties, how to clean those up as well, and a little later, a little preview of the Jaguars Broncos matchup. Secure the best seats at the best price and become a Jaguars season ticket member today. Visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. This is the Urban Meyer Show on Jaguars Radio. Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
This is Ice-T,
Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
Matty Ice.
This is a cold call.
I convinced NFL teams to turn to cold water washing with Tide.
The NFL, your uniforms get dirty.
Tide can handle it, even in cold. Plus, if fans join in, they can save up to $150 on their energy bill.
Looks like you just made the team, rookie.
Turn to cold with Tide.
And that's the bottom line.
It's got to be Tide. Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 44 years straight. Built for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show, rolling along. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to head coach Urban Meyer joining us in the first half hour each week. This show is on Tuesday. Yes, today is Tuesday. And it will be on Tuesday the rest of the way. We started on Thursday last week, but we've adjusted now, and we will be on Tuesday.
I'm a little confused.
Well, there's only 7 days in a week, and this is one of 7. And
I'm
this
easily
is
confused.
Tuesday, and we will have this program each Tuesday, 5 o'clock on the Jaguars Radio Network, along our great affiliates throughout Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina now. Thank you for joining us this year. A lot to discuss. Of course, the Jaguars early in the game, a lot of the game, but certainly early in the game had some key penalties, some substitution things, 12 men on the field, lined up offside a couple times on offense. I mean, that
had a 10-man on the field.
Which is not a penalty, but, you know, that's not enough.
But that's not what you want, right?
You're one short.
Especially on a punt return when you essentially are not blocking somebody because you only have 10 men. So I mean, yeah, you got to get lined up, and that's and I think there will be significant improvement in that area from game 1 to game 2. And the reality is that you typically see the most improvement from game 1 to game 2.
Let me ask you about the illegal formation things. That was the tackles not lining up with the center's rear end, basically, right?
Correct. When the rule is that offensive linemen, okay, the center's on the ball, the guards and the tackles, their helmet must break the belt line of the center.
Got it.
Okay. How they were kind of lining up, because you're supposed to have, if you think of it from a base personnel standpoint, you're supposed to have seven offensive players on the ball. If you think of that in base personnel, you have 5 offensive linemen, a tight end, and then an X wide receiver. The Z, the other wide receiver, is considered to be off the ball, okay? And then you have a fullback and a tailback. That's in old school football terms. Offensive linemen have to, again, center, lines up, guard and tackle. Helmet has to break the plane of the center's belt. But what tackles and offenses do, especially when they get in obvious passing situations, the tackles want to kick back or line up a little bit farther back to negate. Well, what you're trying to do is to negate the advantage that a speed rusher has, and it helps the tackle because he has less of a threat of getting beat around the edge, around the outside, if he's lined up deeper. So the alignment looks like an airplane wing.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's illegal if the tackles are lined up and they're not breaking the belt of the center.
If they're too deep, yeah.
Because now you do not have, if the tackle's that deep, he's now considered
in the backfield.
In the backfield, and he's not one of the 7 required that are to be on the ball. So that was a little bit of an issue, and the Jaguars are fortunate too on the DJ Chark touchdown. It looked like that Laviska Shenault and DJ were both lined up on the line of scrimmage.
Really?
Could have been flagged for illegal formation on that, in my opinion, yes.
Wow.
There's got to be, and who was wrong there, DJ actually needed to be farther up, and Laviska needed to be a little bit farther back, so you can distinguish who's on the ball and who's not. They looked like they were almost on the exact same plane, which would have made that an illegal formation. So those are things that just, awareness that you got to have and pay attention to more details. And the offensive line thing, I mean, that's got to get corrected now because you put in the holding calls and the illegal formation calls, and that was a group that they brought back intact with the expectation that would be a solid or a dependable part of the offense. And in the first game, from a penalty standpoint, that was a problem.
Now, let me ask you this. If that was called the first time in a game, you can ask the official, hey, what's the real situation? They could probably tell you, hey, you did this
well, I don't
or
know
did
if
that.
I'm not
How do you do that during the game?
I'm not exactly – well, first of all, you
certainly should
listen.
do that. Yeah.
But I don't know if that was the reason for all of the illegal formations or not.
All right.
But I know that was an issue with one of them. I don't know if it was for all of them.
Okay. All right. But it is – I mean, you could go, hey, Mr. Ref, what's the real situation here? And then
the refs are not going to just ignore you. I mean, they will help you
to
get legal. And then a lot of times.
That's why the receivers kind of look off to the side and make sure they're off.
You
or
see
on,
that
right?
happen all the time.
All the time.
You
They're
see
like
that
pointing
happen.
to the line, the sideline. They're pointing to the official to make sure that they're good.
Yes, they always do. Well, they should do that
Or-
because officials are there not necessarily just to get you in trouble. They're there to kind of help you. And hey, if you ask them, hey, am I okay? And he might say, you got to move up a little bit more, or something of that nature, or certainly after the play, he will communicate with you. And that's the one thing that I think I appreciate about the NFL officials. They have been, look, it's easy to get mad at them and yell at them and all that kind of stuff. But they will be helpful if you ask them for help. Use them. I mean, when I say use them, ask them questions to help you and your team be better.
And usually there's actually every training camp that I've been around, now 10 seasons, has an officiating crew that comes in for a week before either the scrimmage or the first preseason game, and they're out at practice, and that's what they're there for. They're in meetings with the team.
They're there to help.
To help and work on things and give you a better look at practice.
Yeah, the holding calls that happened, I thought the first one on Jawan Taylor was ticky-tacky.
Really?
I didn't think that was a good call.
Why? What was the...
Well, the defender is trying to kind of run away, and he's got a hold of the, not a hold. He's kind of, I'm not saying he's got a hold. He's blocking the defensive end, and then the defensive end does more of an act job, pulling away like, oh, he held me, as he tried to redirect.
Like J.J. Watt
When Trevor Lawrence tried to go up through the pocket a little bit to buy some time, I thought that wasn't a very good call. The Linder call is just a matter of hand placement. If your hands are outside, you can expect to maybe get called.
Yeah, it almost looked to me on that one like the ball was already past them anyway.
But the hand was on the outside.
So they had him on the back.
Linder's blocking, and for those that are watching and for those that aren't and just listening on radio.
I can't wait to hear you describe this.
Linder is a center, and he's going to block a guy, okay? The running back is going to run off of his left hip. Okay, so he's trying to seal this defender out. Okay, so
to the right.
To the right. Yeah. He's trying to keep the defender to his right. So he uses his left hand and puts it outside the right shoulder pad of the defender. And immediately that's what the official is seeing is the left hand outside the right shoulder and is restricting the defender just because of hand placement. And so from a technical standpoint, the official is correct in calling that. With Linder, and you'll see a lot of offensive linemen do that initially and then work their hand back in, and they do it initially in pass protection a lot of times because their feet aren't good enough to move, and so they want to stop the movement of the defender and then get their hands back inside. Well, Linder's got really good feet. Linder doesn't need to do the hand on the outside to stop the movement of the defender. And that's something that he needs to clean up. And he's been called every holding penalty for the most part that Linder has been called. I won't say every. The majority of the time that Linder gets called for a penalty is when he gets his hands outside. And that's something that he's got to be aware of. They see that, they're going to call that.
Let's come back in a moment and preview the Denver Broncos. They got a win over the Giants in Week 1, and they're coming to TIAA Bank Field in week number 2. Plenty more ahead. This is the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 44 years straight. Built for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. The Urban Meyer Show continues. Head coach Urban Meyer joins us in the first half hour, and this show will air each Tuesday now, 5 o'clock on the Jaguars Radio Network. Glad you're along with us today. The Tuesday debut today of the Urban Meyer Show. Good to hear from the head coach, and getting ready for week number 2 against the Denver Broncos. The Teddy Bridgewater story is fascinating to me, and he came through here when they were in the draft process, right? Mm-hmm. That was the year of the quarterback. It was Johnny Manziel. It was A.J. McCarron came out that year. It was Teddy Bridgewater. It was Bortles. It was all that crew. Derek Carr.
I get those confused too. So
came through in like a 2-day window to visit, right? I mean, they had all the draft eligible guys that they could pick to come for a visit in like 2 days, and we got to interview most of these guys. Right. They let us talk to every one of these guys on camera and put it on the website and all this. And I thoroughly enjoyed talking to Teddy Bridgewater because. Yeah. The way he kind of went about his business, the way he played at Louisville, I just thought he was a fascinating guy to come into the league, and then finally got picked 32nd overall, had to wait all night, and was the last pick of the first round. And then
you remember why he fell that far?
Why is that?
He had a horrendous pro day.
We were there. We were at the pro day. It was
terrible.
It was glove or no glove. It was glove game.
It was like, not a good day.
What's he going to do? It didn't perform that well. We were there for it in Louisville. And then, of course, a couple years in the league, he has a freak accident on the practice field, a knee dislocation, tears some ligaments, and it's like he may not walk again.
Ligaments, plural.
I mean, it was bad. And then kind of fights his way back a little quicker than anticipated, gets back on the field, has to go to another team, goes to the Jets. They trade him to the Saints. And he has an opportunity to play for the Saints when Drew Brees hurts his thumb. And he goes 5-0 in relief of Drew Brees. And so he's kind of just hung around the league. He has a bunch of different stops in the NFL. Wasn't successful with the Panthers last year. They didn't have McCaffrey to really balance it out last year in Carolina. And now he goes to Denver. And you know what? He's a steady, solid veteran NFL player. And he's been a little bit of a journeyman, obviously, but this guy can beat you. I mean, he's a solid vet.
I liked him going back to college, and I remember when people criticized him in the pro day and said, well, we can't draft him that high anymore. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Your majority of the grade or the way you perceive a player has to be based upon the film, not based on one day that's a pro day workout. I mean, there's more weight that has to be weighted towards everything he did when he was in college, not just one single day.
That's right.
When you have a bunch of people standing around and he's got people that he's throwing the ball and they're all wearing underwear. Doesn't work. Football's a different game. But I always liked the way he always stayed cool and calm. And he reminds me a lot of Tyrod Taylor in a lot of ways, not from the mobility, because they're totally – Teddy Bridgewater is not Mr. Mobile.
No.
When I say that, I'm talking about in terms of being a pro. Teddy Bridgewater is a pro. And I love the way he goes about his business. Just like Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is a pro and was the perfect medicine for what the Texans needed with the whole debacle with Deshaun Watson. And the Denver Broncos have been playing great defense under Vic Fangio. He's probably the perfect medicine for the Denver Broncos because he's going to be a steady player that's going to protect the football and is going to complete a higher percentage of his passes. And they've got some weapons now. The loss of Jerry Jeudy hurts.
It's big. 4 to 6 weeks. He's on IR now for them with a high ankle sprain.
But they have Melvin Gordon, who is a really good running back. They have Noah Fant, who is a really good tight end. They've got some weapons now. But the big dogs are on defense.
Yeah, this is where the Denver Broncos shine, of course, and they could have their full arsenal of pass rushers this week. Von Miller's back. He had 2 sacks in last week's win over the Giants, and it could be the return of Bradley Chubb on the other side, too. Von Miller, I mean, we're looking at his stats on Jaguars.com right now, 108 career sacks. That's 24th in league history since 82, the official stat column began. You don't go back to the older days. And he's only played in 2 games against the Jaguars all time. He has 3 sacks in those 2 outings against the Jags, 10 tackles. But, we were talking on an earlier show, Logs, about Von Miller, and I said, hey, he's still the top pass rusher in football. Over the last couple of years, there have been some injury issues, but when they roll out on defense on Sunday, you still got to block that guy.
You better find out where 58's at, and you better find out where 55 is at, too, if he plays, because he's a really good football player. And, Bradley Chubb, if you remember, tore his ACL against the Jaguars a few years ago, and that kind of slowed him down a little bit. I don't know exactly what the injury is that he has now.
Ankle,
okay. But he's a bigger, more powerful guy. Von Miller's like a 238-pound guy. Yeah. Chubb is, he's a 275-plus guy that can bring the hammer. And I loved his film when he was at NC State. I thought he was a dominant player, and he's a good football player. So, and here's a trivia question for you, JP.
I can't wait. I like trivia, yes.
We all know,
Trivia Tuesday,
that everybody knows that Vic Fangio is a superstar defensive mind.
He's been in the league for a long, long time.
Okay, and he's the head coach of the Broncos.
Yes.
Who's the defensive coordinator for the Broncos?
Probably him. Is he calling the plays? Who?
In title, it is a guy by the name of Ed Donatel.
Okay.
Okay, and Ed Donatel, just a little side note, got COVID last year during the season and had a really tough time.
Okay.
I mean, really tough time. I've known Ed since 1990.
Oh, wow.
Ed's first job in the National Football League was the defensive backs coach for the New York Jets under defensive coordinator Pete Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
So I've known Ed for a long time. Super guy. Been in the league ever since, and a really good football coach. And so even though Vic Fangio gets the credit for it, he's the mind and everything else, and he is, but Ed Donatel, as defensive coordinator, is as good as you'll find in the National Football League as well.
Let's come back. Our final thoughts on this Tuesday afternoon, the first Tuesday edition of the Urban Meyer Show on Jaguars Radio.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now. Popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. you're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
A lot has changed in 60 years, but there's one thing that remains the same. Our commitment to our customers and to our community. There's no place like Jacksonville, and there's no place like Gate. Thank you for allowing us to serve you, past, present, and future. Now through August 31st, Jags fans can enjoy 2 of your favorite roller grill items for just $2 at participating Gate locations. Get them while they're hot. Gate, serving up more.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubby's Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
At ViStar, we believe in better convenience, so members can bank any way they want, whether it's at a branch, on a mobile device, or at one of more than 20,000 surcharge-free ATMs across North America. Because we believe that people have better things to do with their time. If you believe that convenience is better, join ViStar. Visit ViStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Fans like you have been told that going all out is going too far. But fans like you know better. You're the kind of fan who loves the team as much as your pet, who paints yourself for game days and dyes your pet's fur to match. You are a rare breed. You are a pet fanatic, equal parts pet obsessed and diehard sports fan. At Pet Paradise, they're crazy about pets too. The official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
This is Ice-T,
Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
Matty Ice.
This is a cold call.
I convinced NFL teams to turn to cold water washing with Tide.
The NFL, your uniforms get dirty.
Tide can handle it, even in cold. Plus, if fans join in, they can save up to $150 on their energy bill.
Looks like you just made the team, rookie.
Turn to cold with Tide.
And that's the bottom line.
It's got to be Tide. Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Yes, it does. It's the Urban Meyer Show. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to head coach Urban Meyer joining us in the first half hour. Tuesdays from now on, 5 o'clock, the start time on the Jaguars Radio Network. Glad you could join us along the network today. Stations throughout Florida, a bunch of stations in Georgia, and as you would imagine, a few stations now in South Carolina since the Jaguars draft class has come in. Welcome to the network.
Who's the guy from South Carolina that everybody wants to follow?
I think he's wearing number 16 and has long blonde hair.
Okay. Cool.
He's going to get a second career start this week.
I'm excited.
Against Denver, yes.
Very much excited to see him this week and how he responds to having a game in which, you throw 3 picks. And I don't expect anything but a strong performance. I mean, I think very highly of this quarterback now. I mean, I'm talking from at every level, from how he handles his business to how he handles press conferences, to how he handles teammates, to how he communicates with his teammates. I mean, I'm excited for the next step with him because, I mean, this is going to be a process for a young quarterback. Mm-hmm. And even though you have a prospect and a young quarterback that many view as the next great quarterback, it's going to be fun to watch. And
there's going to be some bumps in the road too now.
It doesn't happen without having some flaws or some learning experiences. But this is going to be an enjoyable ride because his ceiling is so much higher than what we have ever seen here, JP.
Oh, here, yeah, sure.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is the most talented quarterback that this organization has ever seen. It's just going to take some time for him to get to where you sit there and go, wow, this guy is leading this team to victory after victory after victory.
Jaguars and the Broncos coming up in week number 2. The game presented by TIAA Bank. Plenty of more content coming this week on Jaguars.com. We've got Jags Drive Time tomorrow morning. Huddle up with Bucky Brooks tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock on Jaguars.com and Jags social media. Our thanks to head coach Urban Meyer. Our thanks to Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber, our entire crew behind the scenes getting it done today. For Jeff Lageman, I'm JP Shadrick. It's the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.